Alrighty, so we're going to do a check on and check off. I'm just going to use the paper chart to follow along with. You'll be using the app, but there's a number of things that you can do before you even get on board. There's a couple of things on here I'm going to refer to straight off. First off, you're going to look for any damage, to see if things were clean, see if the jib was filled properly, and so forth. So let's go through that. First off, thing you can look at and see that the jib does not have 3 wraps on it. Okay, that's incorrect. It should have 3 wraps on it. Look at first light, the next boat up, and you'll see it's got 3 wraps. The next boat's got 3 wraps. If you got 3 or more wraps, the boat, it's not going to come undone. But otherwise, it will be a problem. So one of the checks is, hey, there were 3 wraps on the jib, and so you're not going to check that one off. Okay. Other things are going to be things like the deck was clean, and you can look at the deck, you can look along the side and see if there's any new damage noticed. Okay, so there's a few little dings here and there, and that have already been there. But if you see something new, you make a note of it on the check on and check off app. There's a place to put notes down there, so you can note something there. Another thing that you have to check as part of the check on check off is the lines. So there should be 6 lines attached. So one on the starboard side, you should have 3. One on the stern, and a spring line and a bow line, and then mirror image on the port side. So we get a spring line and a bow line there. And just checking the top, looking pretty good. I can come all the way back here, and look at this, new damage. So this is new. This stanchion, actually I was told about this, so I was aware of it. But this stanchion, the weld has come adrift right there. So we're going to have to take this off and get it re-welded. Okay. So that would be something you would note as new damage. Anything that you see that is damaged or isn't cleaned properly, let us know, okay, so we can take care of it. Okay, further back here, here's the power cord. It comes in, goes underneath the lifeline, and hangs from the lifeline. We try and keep it off the deck as much as possible. Okay, but you can look in the cockpit from here and see, oh yeah, that looks pretty good, not too bad. Lines look like they're stowed nicely. Everything looks good. Okay, so a quick look around and having a look down here, see a bit of a scuff down there, and Spencer's probably going to work on those and get those scuffs off. But there we go. So you can do a pretty good check from the dock. Okay, so now let's go on board, and we'll finish what we're doing. So lifeline gates, these are pelican hooks. Take these off and then get them out of the way. And if you just sort of put them down there gently, that will work. And then now we're going to be on board. So I'm going to start with the washboards, and I mentioned this before, but I'm going to go through this whole thing again. Here's the hatch. Never close the hatch where it's like this or like that. Rain will get in that way, or if it's like that, it'll go through the back. If you put it like that and actually close the catch there, so it'll be in the right position. Okay, all the washboards are chamfered, and so if they're put in the right way, rain will come down and it'll go out, not into the boat. The way you do stow the washboards is just do it carefully, do it in sequence here. So you take the top one off, turn it this way, go down and drop it in here. You're going to put all the other ones in front of it. So here comes the next one, around and in, next one, around and in, last one around, and so they all stack up in this direction there. when you get ready to go out, you'll do things like taking the helm cover off. I think we already sort of do that, how to do that a little earlier. So let's go on down below now. Let's see what else we got on here. Dock lines were secure, yep. No new damage notice, nope. Shore power cable was connected and the AC was on. Well, it's connected there. It's connected at the dock. If you can see all the way over there past the hose, and you'll see there's a couple of power cords there, yellow power cords plugged in. The one with the tape on it is the one for Texas Tack. Okay. Okay, so now the next one on here, that was the arrival. Next thing is electrical. So we're going to look at the electrical, and the first thing says is the AC panel switches, AC main and the spare were on. AC main was on. It's actually not the spare anymore, it is the battery charger, were on. Also, having the outlets on is optional, depending on if you want the fan running while you're gone. It's fine to do that, so that's okay. So the AC is on. That means everything's working there. All the DC switches were off. So if I look at all of the DC switches, yep, they are all off. So check that off. Battery switch was in both position, or the all position. So if we go back into the aft cabin and take a quick look at the battery switch, see that it's in all. So that's good. I'm charging all the batteries, or both batteries. Next thing that you would do is switch when you're getting ready to go out, it says here, switch to battery 2. And we're not going to do that right now, but if you're going out, you would do that. And then you would turn DC main on. So what they do would enable all of these other things. Also, the instruments are attached directly to the DC main. And so if you want instruments, you need to have that DC main switch on. Okay? So now, the salons and cabins. So, salon area was clean and tidy. So, I've made a little bit of a mess in here, but it's not too terribly bad. And tidy except for the stuff that I brought on board here, bags and things like that. Normally, people should not leave stuff on board, bags, clothing, or anything like that. Okay, the fore and the aft cabins were clean and empty, so we can look in the fore cabin and the aft cabin. We won't do that now, but you would look at that, and it looks like a little messy thing right there that we'll clean off. But all hatches and port lights on the boat were closed, so we can check the two hatches right here, one in the head, one in the aft cabin. We can check the port lights and make sure that they're all closed properly and secured. They're all done. Then we can check the forward hatch and see that it is closed properly and it's left unlocked, which is the way that it should be. Okay. All right, so that part of it's good. And the autopilot head was stowed on the shelf in the salon. So there's the autopilot head. So far, so good. The only thing that we found a problem so far is the stanchion there that's got a welding problem. Okay, next thing, galley area. The counters were clean. Water spots off of the sink as much as possible. I think that's pretty good. No trash left on board. Check in here, and that looks good. Generally no trash. Let's see. More than one roll of paper towels. So we got a roll here, and nothing there, but we do have one down there. So we do have 2 rolls of paper towels, but as this one comes loose, you're going to say, nope, there's not 2 rolls of paper towels, and we'll know to go ahead and put some on. Same kind of thing with toilet paper. Okay, so we've checked the galley area. We've got paper towels, and everything's good to go there. Next thing, we want to check the head. So when we come in here, we just want to make sure that first off it's clean. It's a bit dusty here, but it's not real bad. Main thing is, let's look at the toilet here, and it looks pretty good. The rule is that if you use the head, it gets cleaned. So the best thing to do is make sure all of your passengers and crew understand that, and tell them that the first one to use the head gets to clean it. So that's a good way to handle that. So all of that looks pretty good. I think in there was also, do we have more than 2 rolls of toilet paper? Well, we got 2 up here and 1 right in here. So we're good with the toilet paper. The next thing is the cockpit lockers. So let's go outside here. So first thing, helm cover was on. Okay, that's on. The wheel was centered. The autopilot lever was in the up position. So I'd be taking this off, and let's just have a look how we left it. There it is. It's in the up position. There's the down position. That's engaged. That's disengaged. And then also we got a bungee on here to keep the wheel steady. So that's part of the check on, check off. Okay. The cockpit lockers. Okay, so in this one we need the 8 life jackets and a type 4 and a boat hook and a brush. Now right now we do have the boat hook on board here and here, but the brush is not there right now, so we have to get that back on board. Okay, then check the lazarettes. We got 4 dock lines in there. We can get down there and yank those out if we wanted to. And then on the other side, we've got our fenders. And all of that looks good. Okay, cockpit was okay. Cockpit area was clean and scuff free, and yeah, it's pretty clean. You know, it's what I'm looking for. I did notice that there was a bit of a scuff right here that we'd want to get off. You know, so I would note that myself. The furling line was cleated securely. Okay, here's the furling line. It's got a proper cleat hitch on there. All the lines were coiled and neat, and everything there looks good. All topside was clean and scuff free, so we had a look, and that's all looking pretty good. The jib was filled with 3 laps, and couldn't happen there. Anchor and locker were clean. We didn't look at that, but we'll go up there in just a second. But let's do that. Actually, we'll do that now. So a couple of other things as we're going forward. We want to make sure that there's at least 3 inches of clearance between the boom and the bimini. If I get onto the main sheet here, I can hold this thing down really, really hard and pull that boom down to where it's hitting the bimini, and we don't want it to be left like that. It'll wreck the bimini. Okay, the stack pack here, we just need to make sure that it's closed and done up properly. Yep, it's good. And then the anchor locker, it's right here, and everything looks copacetic there. Okay, actually quite clean. Okay, so the checklist, check-on list, has a bunch of things that we've just gone through, and there's a couple of things put in there just to do as you're going along, because there's no sense check it and then have to go back there and do something like turning the battery to the battery switch in here to number 2, and then turning the DC main on to make sure we got power for the instrument. So as you're getting ready to depart, some things you want to do is make sure that everything's stowed properly in the cabin. Right now, that fan would have to be stowed up on the shelf somewhere, or in some other way that it's not going to fall off. Same thing with the bag here and the bottle. You want to close all the hatches and port lights. We've already looked at those. Turn off all the switches on the AC panel. So you're getting ready to go now. So let's talk, just as we turn off the AC, let's talk about connecting and disconnecting the AC. Okay, the way it works is panel, dock, boat. When you're leaving, you turn the AC off at the panel, then you unplug it at the dock, then you unplug it at the boat, down there in that locker, coil the cord up and put it on the dock. When you're coming back in, it's just the reverse. Okay, dock is always in the middle, but it's going to be boat, then plug in the dock, and then turn on the panel. That's important for safety reasons, making sure we don't get electrocuted. Then it talks about starting the engine, preparing the mainsail, and that kind of thing, which you will do, but you'll be going over that on the when you do the on the water orientation. So that covers pretty much everything on the walkthrough here. And the check off, just a reminder, check on, check off is extremely important. If you get on board and you say, yeah, the deck brush was there because you didn't check, and then the next guy comes on and says, no, the deck brush wasn't there, guess who gets charged for the deck brush? Okay, damage, don't let your guests cause you to spend a lot of money fixing their mistakes. Then you have to get reimbursed by them. So just make sure that you train them properly. That's what it comes down to. Treat the boat with care. Treat it with respect. Never, ever, ever force anything. And you'll have a great time, and everything will work great for you. So if you have any questions, just give me a yell. I'd be glad to chat with you about that. So, see ya.